we cleaned that up some, and we will continue to clean it up some. I also own a farm. Here we go. You're now watching the 2024 season of Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. Previously, we got the leaf spring back underneath, a new leaf spring underneath the 1974 R model Mack, and we got to get one bolt for it today. But what I'm going to do is probably pressure wash it, since it's kind of a mess. Well, it's going to get pressure washed at some point. I might get underneath and actually work on that PTO before I wash it. That way water's not dripping down. But we're in a much better spot. So not a broken leaf spring. A lot of work to come for the fall. So we're going to get this figured out. Silage truck can get parked out of the way, since that's good to go. I don't know how much silage we're gonna run. Some people have asked me about borrowing it. I said, yeah, have at it. I know there's some people that said you should sell it. What am I gonna sell it for? 10 grand? It's made me almost 10 grand this year. So at the end of the day, it doesn't make any sense. So might as well hold on to it. If I really had another person, it could be running right now. It could be running tomorrow. It could be running in between. People have asked me to run it, and I said, well, I get paid better for manure hauling. Yes, we got to go a little distance away, but at the end of the day, manure hauling is much more consistent. Chopping, it's go, go, go for a month, and then it's done. Manure, we got a few months, and then you get some in the summer, and so on and so on. It goes hand in hand, but there's always manure. If there's no yields, it's less, but the cows have not pooped less, let's say. So, but alrighty, that's gonna get moved. I'm gonna try the blade out. We'll just mess around. We got piles down at the bottom of the hill I'd like to get sorted out. Give it a quick rinse just to make it look a little bit better. Someday the goal is a man lift, so that you can get up and down on these uprights and just clean stuff. Everybody I know who's got a man lift to wash stuff, that's living. But alrighty, yeah, we gotta clean this out at some point. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if this truck's gonna run much more. I'm just busy. I'm one guy. Somebody has said sell all your trucks, just have one. You're right, till you need one. And a couple dollars in your pocket every year with one is good. This one doesn't owe us anything. But I'll let it air up. Successfully broke into Robert's truck, because when I put it in gear the other day, it locked the doors, and then when it went back to park, it did not unlock the doors. So the doors were locked. That's why it's been sitting there. We were messing with it yesterday, but we said let's get that done. It's the stuff like that it's like, why? But oh, my welding gloves are in here, so that's good to know. Alrighty, let's go use the Bulldozer attachment on this. I've never really pushed dirt with this, but that is why Deere built a bunch of these, was because it went on tractors and people pushed dirt with them. You'll see quite a few are snow with them. And you gotta think, when these blades were made for the 40 series and stuff like that, how many people were actually having piles at that time in the early 80s, even in the 70s with some of this stuff? You see some 40-20s and stuff like that have blades on them. So, yes, there was people having drive over piles and bunks, but a lot of it was silos, upright silos. We are angled on the blade, and I did that so that when I started pushing stuff out back, I could angle it one way and cut passes. So we'll see exactly how this works out. Well, that actually worked out pretty good. Do have to get the other cutting edge. Probably should put the skid shoes up higher. They were set up to push corn silage, but yeah, we cleaned that up some, and we will continue to clean it up some. Since our roadway has to go, well, I want this slope more gradual down to here to just make this whole area better. So these dead trees could probably get pulled out, but as you see, we got some vegetation starting to grow over there, and that will get raised up more and more as we get final fill in, either millings or something at some point. But they've been dumping a few loads here, and I'll give them some more space that if they dump more, and we'll make it real nice and gradual so that we can mow it, keep it well maintained, and not have issues going forward in the future, which we're supposed to get like 4 or 5 inches of rain, I think, the end of next week. Well, this week coming up. Today is Friday, and yeah, the waterway's been doing its thing. 100% looking really good through there. I see we got a brush on the other side, rocks and everything. I think we got it figured out. Isaiah did a great job getting a lot of it all sorted out, and yeah, this worked out way better than I thought. Buying a, what are they, 4-foot pipes, 48-inch or 5-foot pipe, culvert pipe, yeah, it's crazy money. So did that previously, but bulldozer attachment worked. So that's kind of a joke going around, because whenever anybody's piece of equipment goes down pushing bunk, Eric's the first one to get a phone call saying, hey, can you push bunk? And Eric goes, Duffy's got a push tractor. I said, no, it's just a bulldozer. Went ahead, got the lawn mowed. We are actually drying up. These are supposed to go to somebody, so come get them if you still want them. I've asked the kid a few times. He said, oh yeah, and then he never comes. So if you watch the videos, which he's local, I messaged him, I'm done with it. So either they're gonna be here or I'm throwing them in the scrap pile next time I move them. But got the lawn mowed. We're gonna pull, we got a pile of scrap right here. Don't drive over that. We gotta get our magnet back from Aaron too. Gonna pull this in and look at everything, and then call Meridians and see what they can get me. Run to Meridians. He says he's got one. I explained it to him over the phone. If you've ever been to Meridians, they're awesome people. They got everything, but if they don't know who you are and they don't know what project you're doing, they give you the bare minimum. So I'm gonna bring this with. So we're gonna go from this right here to a dump pump, and I believe we're not gonna have to move that dump pump, so we're gonna leave it alone. That drive shaft might be at a slight angle, but it's clearly at an angle right now, so it might go up to the left. We got to see exactly what he's got. We're gonna have to cut and weld some of it, which at the end of the day, it's not that bad. Something like that really doesn't have to be balanced. But let me get the pickup backed over here, throw that in, that way I can line it up and say, yes, that is what we need. Okay, so I brought this right with me, which is good, because we lined this up, so that goes there. So that's good. We're gonna cut the existing shaft that's in there, and this will slide into it. So this will be right here. Then we should be good to go. So I was gonna get a whole new shaft, so I didn't mess with that other one. But at the end of the day, I said, he's like, they're a couple $100 for the shafts. So I'm sitting here going, I'm hoping I never have to use that shaft again in my life. Well, that pump, or we'll take that right off. But you hot, bud? The windows are down. That is quite the place. So if you've never if you're in this area and you need hydraulic stuff, Meridians, they got it. They got to figure out exactly where it is sometimes, but like he said, they have so much stuff. And they got their other location, which I was talking to Nate Johnson, and he said that location is just hydraulic hoses up in, I think that's Latham, but down here it is impressive. Okay, so what we ended up getting was those 3 items, which are going to connect our current shaft after some messing around. We got to get the current shaft out from underneath. I forget what exactly holds it in there, but it's sitting in there now. So There's our current shaft, so we're going to cut that wherever it needs to go. I'm hoping it gets over close enough that we don't have an issue. Otherwise, we'd have to move the pump out of the way, which someday the dump pump's going to fail us anyways. It's just a matter of time with those pumps. This thing needs such a bath, but I wasn't going to lay underneath it. So I'll get that off. Forget if it's an Allen wrench or a bolt or what really holds that together. But we previously made that. And what goes on here was we put this truck together. We did not have a Mack PTO. I was not spending $2,000 on a Mack PTO at that point. I needed the truck to run. I knew I was just going to nurse it, run the boom. The problem is with the PTO that is in there, we cannot field spread because you have to be in a gear to run it. So I put it in, technically it's 4th gear out of the 5-speed on the high side, but you run it in a gear to make that PTO turn. So 1st gear or low does not work for spreading. So with this Mack PTO, that will make it so that we can spread, if that made any sense. So here's where we're at. Yeah, we got a little bit of a leak on top of the transmission, I think. Eventually actually, I think it's leaking out of here. Eventually, once we get this and we know everything's good, we can take this PTO off. I have the plate to go back on it, block that back off. This is where our PTO goes. So this hole, that hole, and these 3, and it will come right over to here. So I actually think we're going to be pretty good. We're going to have to cut this. Previously, we had, we built this. We built this end. So I do see, what is it? Oh, it's a cover. Yeah, we got a few leaks we got to figure out at some point, but not dripping enough to make it matter, except for this one right there. Yeah, that's hydraulic oil. That's getting worse. So once we get this in, we're going to pressure wash everything and see where we're at. I'm very excited that that springs back together as good as it went. But, okay, so I got this end out, that bolt that it's in the vice grips. And then this end, I should have brought a towel or something. There should be a, right there. I believe it's Allen wrenches. Maybe it's not right there. No, it's right there. Oh no, it broke off in it, didn't it? I don't actually know now that I say that. I'm gonna have to clean this up a little bit. Probably get some light underneath here. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. I believe there's a bolt that's broken off somewhere here, but I'm not really sure. Oh, forget how that holds itself in. Yep, there's the broken bolt. So we're going to leave that end in for now. Someday that's going to bite us. I forget why that's broken, but alrighty. Oh, I had that start turning. There we go. It's been a while since we wore gloves for anything. Yeah. So, we gotta take that off. I got a pair of channel locks. Spin that off. While we're down here, we should really set the dump piece up for it. Cut it. I don't know, we'll see. Sorry, got sidetracked. Alright, so we gotta take this cover off. It's gonna be full of oil. I should just drain up in front here first. And then get everything cleaned up, then take the cover off. Let's see exactly where we are at with everything. So I got the drain pan over behind my head. This is a good Friday evening project. A little weekend DIY project. Get everybody going. 3/4. No, not 3/4. What? That's no good. I'm sure you guys got a good angle though. Magnet looks pretty good. Yeah. So drain plug magnet. Okay, so that's going to drain out. I don't know how much that takes. We're going to have to get some gear oil, I think. Oh, I'm dripping everywhere. I think we're actually okay. Okay. So then we take these bolts off, which are not that. They're 5/8, I believe. Yep. There we go. Okay. I take it this might drip a little bit. The only reason I know any of this is because my silage truck is set up this way. Because the silage truck had a manure tank on it, so it needed to spread continuously. And yeah, we could have changed the transmissions out. I would love to go to a 12-speed of this same Mack. Golden Bulldog on the front means quite a bit to me. So, which means it's an all Mack of this age. I know the Golden Bulldogs left, and now they're back, and then they go, and then they're here. So, and nobody can really give the full story because there is all Mack trucks that have regular Bulldogs. They were here for years, and then they weren't. It depends on the year, but this is all Mack. Everything on this truck is Mack. We do have to fix the radio though before it leaves. Which I'm hoping it's like a fuse or a wire. If it's the head unit, I got another head unit, but kind of odd it just stopped. The radio didn't stop, the speaker stopped. So we'll do a little testing. If I didn't have to drain this, I'll be embarrassed, but I believe you do. There should be a gasket on this other side too, an O-ring. Okay. Put the drain plug back in. Yeah, tiny little bits of metal, nothing crazy. Should put some tape on this so we know it doesn't leak. Remind me to do that when we go back up. Grab some pipe tape. This leak here is actually coming from above, so I'm a little confused on that. Oh, yep. There is an O-ring. It's on it right now. It stays on it. So there, Okay, I'm going to take it off because we're going to clean everything up. And I'll put it on the pump. Okay. So there's a bearing here. This is your shaft coming in, I believe, and it continuously runs. That is the biggest part of it. Alright, I gotta clean this stuff up. Before we throw it in there. Probably need a scrape. Yeah, that probably would help. So, right here, as you see, it says PTO. So, if I had known what I knew now, if I had known the boys at Global, I did a lot of learning with this truck. This truck has taught me a lot of things about a lot of stuff. But I would have put a Mack PTO in it right away if I had known. But I knew it needed one. I just didn't know where to get it. And honestly, I didn't have the funds. Even at that time, I didn't have funds. So now that if we field spread for a day or, well, 2 days, pretty aggressively, we can pay for this whole PTO. When I set this truck up, the idea was we were going to haul manure like 10, 12 days a year. Maybe a little bit more, but we were only moving a million gallons a year. Well, no, probably 1.5 million. That was kind of where we were at. And now we move a few more. So I want to get this all cleaned up because PTO goes all the way across this. It braces for the transmission. I believe the one that's on my silage truck is a smaller one. This is a bigger one. So I don't... More capacity? More spin? I don't know. Okay. Oh, come on. If I gotta pull this, you join out. I'm gonna be happy. I guess I'll put that in neutral and see if I can spin that around. Okay, so I'm popping the drive shaft off, which is going to be probably pretty heavy. Oh, no, stay right there. Oh, I didn't think about this. Oh, there's move light. Let the PTO away. Oh. Oh. Okay. So now I'm hoping We'll go like that. It should slide right in. That came apart way easier than I thought. Oh, gloves are ripped. That helped us a lot. We made it fun. Okay, gaskets in, still cleaned up. Okay. So, if you pull this out, because this is what operates the air. Oh, come on. So it's out. Oh, the transmission's in neutral. I forgot that. So there we go. It's pretty much there. Okay, what am I missing? Can't see anything fogging up. I think I just need some wiggle. Can you guys see anything? There we go. That was actually it. Just a little wiggle. Alrighty. Oh. Probably the shorter ones. There we go. So it'll have the 3 cap bolts that were in, which I'm gonna switch those out. And then we got I want the shorter ones, I think. 2 big bolts that bolt it right to it, so. That is on the wrong side. I just realized that. This is not gonna work how I want it to. Not at all. Oh my God. I should have known. So this is with this transmission my only option. Once we're good, it should be very good. I got to figure out what I want to do. This truck never had a PTO on it. We put a PTO on it. Now we're putting the right PTO on it for what we want to do. It's just going to take us a little bit. Once it's on there, this is going to be what we needed. I highly believe that. But I got to take the PTO that's up there and bring it over here. My other truck, which means we got to make lines, and honestly, at that point, I should switch PTOs to something that's brand new. This PTO was used, no idea how long. The tank worked out very well. The tank and the PTO came together from Bobby Seidel, and it sat in my bushes for at least 2 years, and I forget what he took it off of. Or the dump pump. Robert's almost here, he said too. So, we're in. It is not perfect. It is not functioning, but at least this is in. I have to figure out how we're going to mount a PTO over here out of the way of the drive shaft. It'll look a lot cleaner once all of this PTO is out, or the dump pump is out of here. So we got a little bit of our battle done, not a lot of it. We got about 20%. Now we're stuck. And now Robert's here. Dude, this is never going to work again.
Why?
Because you just showed up.
What?
You just showed up. This doesn't actually work. I got to do a bunch of work.
Oh, of course it doesn't work.
It works. The PTO is just on the wrong side. The dump pump's on the wrong side of the drive shaft. I'm going to grab 4 lock nuts, put them on this just so they don't wobble around. They can't come out, but I'd rather not ruin the threads of them bouncing around as we're running. I also got to put the cap back on the air because that's... I think this is as much as we're going to do until we get a slow day. We're busy tomorrow, and then Sunday we got to do some prep work and then call it good. But what I'm going to have to do is take this... Let me grab the flashlight out of here. Oh, light up. We're going to take... Well, we're going to get a dump pump, but we're going to drop that bracket down, and I think we're going to... Ow, that was my head. I think we'll drop this bracket and come down and over to like... Wow. To like here. Because if we build off of this side, it's not going to make very much sense. I, for some reason, thought this lined up and went to like right here, which that still would have been a bad angle because it sits out quite a bit. So that's hooked back up, by the way. For the beginning of this, we are not going to, well, we could probably field spread at some point, but I got to buy a new dump pump because I think that will be the best with an air-operated solenoid on it. And we got to fix some of this plumbing where it's leaking up top. It's getting worse. So I got to do a little bit of thinking, but alrighty, let me grab those and probably call it good for right now. Alrighty, dirty day. Better get cleaned up, make some dinner. Appreciate you guys watching along. We got some stuff done. We did some stuff unique. 75 pushing a little bit of dirt. That's good. This truck, we're getting closer to really where we need to be to have it the all-around farm truck for what we need to do with it. So PTO is going to make a big difference. We just got to do a little bit of fabrication. So that will come, but I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.